Hello, I'm God's least favorite lab rat. I live 2 meters above the Earth's exterior core. I recently sold my only two friends, Jamal and Li Yang, for a can of beans and a brick respectively, and the only two people I have left to talk to are the ever-expanding flesh conglomerate and my bitch wife.
Tomorrow is your first 14-hour shift. Reduced hours are not being approved at this time. Paid time off is not being approved at this time. Sick leave is not being approved at this time. Parental leave is not being approved.
I experienced just as much sunshine in the 9 months spent in the womb as I have in the past 21 years of being alive, live exclusively off a diet of Cold War bunker provisions and unlabeled pills, and regularly have to fend off coconut-sized mosquitoes to keep my fluids where they belong. But I'm only joking, of course. Only half of this applies to me. The rest is about the game White Knuckle. White Knuckle is a game that's still in the early stages of its life, but the developers could have left it the way it is right now and still had something worth $5 from your wallet in a few hours of your time. The game's objective is to go up, and its failing condition is to go down. It's not the first time the concept's been done. It's a pretty popular genre of game for streamers to play in front of a drooling audience, but it still stands out for 3 reasons. 1. The game isn't exclusively 8 GB of ripped assets. Some sounds and textures are reused, supposedly the cockroaches, but for the most part it's all made with love. 2. The game isn't one long trek upwards over the course of multiple hours. Each climb should take around 20 minutes, at least in the demo, and given that every climb is unique, you're encouraged to try again, and failure isn't a source of humiliation. And 3. It has an inventory. I really like the introduction of items in this game. There's a pretty limited variety so far, with the more common ones having pretty easy to predict uses, but this alone would be enough to remove the game from the common, filthy masses of wall-scaling streamer slop. White Knuckle's 3 basic items are the hammers, the pitons, or just spikes because that's a stupid name and I don't like them, and rebars. First off, your most faithful partner. Every protagonist has a signature weapon. Gordon Freeman has his crowbar, the Dragonborn has his thum, my father has his belt. Yours is the hammer. It's nothing special, just a shaft for gripping and a chunk of steel for smashing. But combined with the spikes you find everywhere, it's your primary method of forming paths. It's got a couple of other uses on top of that too. It can smash barriers, it can smash blood bugs, and if a barnacle tries to smash you, you'll find it far more effective than any safe word. After that is the previously mentioned spikes. They're rudimentary methods of picking faster, safer, or stupider paths whenever you find yourself at a crossing with the Foundation's anti-homeless architecture. They're only stable if you hammer them in all the way, but if you're fast enough and don't expect to come back this way, which, let's be honest, you don't want to do, then it's possible to cut a few seconds off your run and just leap them while they're still unstable. Now, I'm very stupid, and you shouldn't listen to my advice, but I would personally suggest ensuring you have at least 2 of them on hand at any given time. Any less, and you'll eventually run into a gap you can't cross, and no longer have enough time to find your way around. Like this 3-meter jump, conveniently at the very end of the demo when you're 2 minutes away from beating the goddamn game. There are 3 developers of this game, and I'm not afraid to whittle down the numbers until I find and destroy whichever one of them did this. Spikes, unfortunately, weren't as fertile as their girthier counterpart. Its only offspring is the
auto spike.
The name itself is self-explanatory. You put it in the wall, and it will make sure that it never comes out of the wall. Anyways, after that is rebars. They're like spikes, but more fun and less reliable. They're projectile tools meant to reach the wall you intend to climb well before you do. They're good for crossing gaps with no ledges, they're good for plotting out courses you'll be getting to later, and they're good for the dopamine-rich that you can always rely on it providing. They also come with a secondary bonus that, up until I was in the middle of recording this video, I had assumed were simply hindrance. I had initially believed that they would apply recoil on impact, meaning throwing one of these at a wall.
That's a minute and a half of dialogue you're missing back there, just so you know.
The latter half is true, but this mostly isn't the case. It's not recoil on impact.
You want to know why?
You're lobbing these things so hard
Because I couldn't find a way to implement it into the video, so I'm gonna keep it to myself instead. If you don't want to miss out on a 10th of my next video, you should maybe consider subscribing and leaving a really nice comment while you're here too. Because as long as I'm not making these things for an audience, I can make as many cuts like this as I'd like.
There's a couple of other things on top of basic climbing tools too. The canned beans instantly restore your stamina at the expense of eating Cold War rations that have been absorbing the can's lead interior for well over a century. You're allotted 2 hotkeys in the game in the form of your pockets. Your pockets should be full of beans at all times. Pocket number 2. You know what's in here? Beans. Taking the pills removes exhaustion entirely. You'll most likely develop an addiction, shit yourself uncontrollably at the low end of every high, and blow your deteriorating brains out in a fit of hallucination-induced hysteria within 2 years of developing the habit. But it'd feel pretty neat for about 30 seconds. The syringe increases your speed and jump height. I've never really used these myself. I can't say much about them. I already have a vice. And then there's the most useful item in the game, the sacrificial lamb, the grub bug. By averting your eyes and crushing it into a fine pulp, you can temporarily climb any surface. The game will recognize this as a sin, and you recognize it as a sin, and the bug, had you given it enough time to develop beyond a toddling infant, would have been a staunch anti-abortionist. But its glue-like properties are worth killing for, and the ever-growing mass of flesh at your feet will not give you the time to find a replacement. Using the tools that you've been provided, you'll hopefully make your way through 4 different stages: silos, pipework, pipe organ, and the airlock in that specific order. The silos take up roughly 500 meters of your climb, give or take, and consist entirely of brutalist landscaping and unfiltered LED lighting. As far as I'm aware, the silos were initially designed to store common pests, a beyond commercial stockpile of canned beans, and the meat. Unintentionally, it also serves as the most hazardous set of monkey bars seen since Krabbyland. I've accrued enough experience in this game to breeze past this with almost every climb by now, but I still remember having so much trouble with this game at the start that I was legitimately mad to find out they'd hidden 3/4 of the demo behind such a high learning curve. There's a few floppy disks scattered around this part of the map, but I don't really know what to do with them. After scraping your nails against unsanitized concrete and rusted girders for long enough, you'll eventually come across the pipeworks. It's a welcome escape from the cold bureaucracy of the silo. There's plenty of biodiversity, and the wildlife roams freely. Fresh rivers carrying only the finest doo-doo feces stretch from coast to concrete coast. The staff at this fine getaway are decomposing. The babes are plentiful and also decomposing. It's a statement to this foundation's care for its employees that they put together a paradise like this within the workplace itself. Truly, we're all a family here. The objective hasn't changed just because you got off the well-worn path. Your main goal is still to go up and act like you don't know nobody. Roaming striders will assist you with this. Blood bugs won't assist you with this. Gas bags are ambiguous about it. I'm gonna kill myself. Unrelated, but I tried checking the Wikipedia fan page to see if I missed anything about this floor, and it still looked like this. The pipe organ is supposedly a direct part of the pipeworks themselves, but the scenery is so different that I'm choosing to believe that's false. The community and developers are both wrong, and maybe even a little gay. The pipeworks were heavy in wildlife. The pipe organ is the wildlife. Most of the stage consists of crawling through what feels like the infrastructure's arteries, and any of the more open rooms are still mostly taken up by hulking masses of pipe that look nearly organic. This particular layer of the game would have done a fantastic job of depicting the Foundation as a horrifying, near-alien entity, but the wide-open arteries and faulty respiratory system left me constantly viewing it as an obese American citizen. After the pipe organ is the airlock. This is the final stretch of the demo and serves as a final desperate leap between you and the quickly approaching horrors. I talk you through how this section works, but I've already held your hand enough. You're a grown man now, and it's time you make these mistakes and learn about these things on your own. Don't bother trying to come back. I've already changed the locks, and your mother and I have decided that we can gamble another 18 years trying to make a better son. Good luck out there. Maybe you would have won your parents' love if you had just wishlisted White Knuckle on Steam. Also, I completely forgot to record the first time I beat the demo, and the mouse I picked up off Temu 2 weeks ago fell apart before I could do it a second time. There's only so many things you can expect out of me. We're going to go ahead and cut the video here. As a final note, since I'm unsure if I've just said it outright, this is a really good game. It's in its early stages of development, and I've already started sinking a ridiculous chunk of my time into the game. It'll be getting a new update less than 2 weeks after I posted this video, with a lot of new content and features that I haven't even mentioned here. I wouldn't bother waiting until then before you give it a try, because even as the game stands right now, it's a solid 10 out of 10.